the boxer who controls the distance, controls the fight. Now, when you think about Dmitry Bivol and you think about controlling the distance, you automatically think about footwork, the pendulum step. And although the footwork of Dmitry Bivol does control the distance, so does his lead hand. So does his defense. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you 3 techniques that Dmitry Bivol uses to control the distance with his lead hand. It's the jab, it's the long guard, and it's measuring. By the end of this video, you're going to stop seeing them as separate techniques and see them as one entire system. The jab isn't simply just a punch for Dmitry Bivol. It's one of the first ways in which he controls the distance. Now, when Dmitry Bivol is using the jab offensively, he can use it to set up combinations. He can touch with it. When he touches, these are fake jabs. Look, he's slowly touching as he's stepping in, and then he can pop a real jab. Now, what he's just done there is he's broken his opponent's rhythm with the jab, and now he's able to throw his combinations. So he's used it offensively. He's used it to ignite his offensive combinations. But not just that. When he does touch with his jab or throw his jab to set up combinations, he's also collecting data. Does my opponent step back? Does my opponent parry? Does my opponent block? So that's going to help him later on in the fight. So he's going to know how his opponent will react. So then he'll know what punch to throw after the jab. For example, if I throw a jab, my opponent steps back. Now I'm going to know I need to throw a double jab. So I might do bat, and then throw a cross, which is most likely going to land. And that's why at times when Bivol throws combinations and it works so effortlessly, just seamlessly throws it and it hits. It's not just because he's a mind reader. It's because he's predicting what movements his opponents are going to do after he does throw that initial jab via collecting data. Now, how does Dmitry Bivol use the jab defensively? Defensively, the jab can be used to help create distance, working at the same time with his feet. So he can be stepping away and jabbing. Now, when you're stepping and jabbing, what you're doing is you're not just making the distance between you and your opponent wider with your feet, but there's an actual object, a punch, coming towards your opponent. Your opponent doesn't want to get punched in the face, so they have to stay back. They have to stay at bay, because otherwise they're going to walk into a punch. So the jab can be used offensively and defensively. Defensively, it's helping you create distance. Offensively, it's helping you set up combinations, helping you break your opponent's rhythm. The ring IQ you're going to need to take in so you can use these same skills in your boxing fights when you're training is you need to realize that when you're on the punch bag and you want to attack the bag, you don't just walk in, and start throwing your combinations no matter how good they look. You have to set up those combinations, and those combinations can be set up via using the jab. So I'm outside the range, and for example, my punch bag is right here. I'm outside the range. I'm here. I'm going to touch you. I'm going to touch you. And then I might slip and throw a power shot, for example. I might touch it. Then I throw a real combination after throwing the jab. So you use the jab to measure the distance. You use the jab to control the distance, to feel the distance, to line up your opponent. And once all of that's been done, that's when you can strike with shots. The jab does control the distance. The jab does help you set up combinations. But Bivol needs more than just the jab. Now, the objective hasn't changed. Dmitry Bivol still wants to control the distance, but now this is the second tool in which he uses to do so, the long guard. Now, the long guard can be used defensively and offensively, but first, let's explain how the long guard can be used defensively. Now, the long guard can be used defensively along with his footwork and along with his jab, because he might be stepping away from my opponent and throwing jabs, but my opponent might have good head movement, so my jabs are simply just missing. Now, what Bivol will do was then he will just literally hold his opponent with the long guard as he steps. Now, if my opponent is pushing forward, what I'm going to do is step with my rear leg to my right, push my opponent to my left, and now I'm going to be using his forward momentum to navigate him away from me. And now he's spun off and I've escaped. That's how the long guard can be used defensively. The long guard can also be used defensively for simply just holding your opponent at bay. You're holding them at bay. You're like a rod. Your arm is locked. Now, a long guard can't be bent because if your arm is bent, if your opponent is stronger than you, it's going to collapse in. But if your arm is locked, it's an impossibility for your arm to collapse. So you're going to hold them at bay. Sometimes, even during combinations, you might be working on your opponent and then you hold them at bay. Just like that. You're looking at them, having a look at them, assessing them before you begin to keep throwing combinations. So that's how the long guard can be used defensively. But how can the long guard be used offensively? Offensively, the long guard can be used primarily to line up your opponent and control how they move whilst you're continuing to batter them. So let's just say I'm boxing my opponent right now and he's on the ropes. I might hold him with a long guard, not even on his head, on his gloves, or just in his facial area before I line up combinations. So you're holding him there, you're catching his rhythm, catching his timing, and then you're going to let your shots fire. You can also navigate where your opponent's head's going to be. So, for example, if my long guard is in my opponent's eyes, I put it in his eyes, in his vision, his head might move now to my right because he wants to come out of my vision. He wants my hand to come out of his vision. And when it does, I can pop him with shots. So you can use it to manipulate. I can block his vision from a certain angle, knowing he's going to come outside, and then I can just change my shot. I can also navigate. I can also manipulate how his body's going to move. Because if I put my hand on his neck, for example, I can shuffle him and then counter him. So as I explained to you how he would escape with it, you can also use it for defense. So if I touch my opponent, he's coming towards me, I step opposite to where I push him, I can now line him up and bang him with shots. So you can escape from that, but you can also use it offensively to counteract your opponent. So when you're in the gym, practicing the long guard. Now, you can even practice the long guard on the bag, just like you're going to with the jab. So when you're on the bag, for example, you're going to punch the bag. And when the bag swings towards you, lay back, long guard, look. Lay back, step back. It's coming towards me, I step back. I step around. It's coming towards me, I can even manipulate the angle. So it's coming, I can step outside, move it. I can throw my punches. Everything you're doing in the ring, you should be able to do it on the bag. And then once you can do it on the bag, you can do it in sparring. And once you can do it in sparring, you should be able to do it in your fights. That's very important that you need to be able to do it on the bag because this is a still object. It doesn't fight back. And if you can't do these skills on a still object, there's no way you're going to be able to do them on a live opponent. So the long guards. But the long guard is a great skill, but is there even a skill more subtle that might be more effective than the long guard? Before Bivol commits with a punch, he already knows his range, he already knows his distance. And the reason is because he uses the lead hand to measure his opponents. So he's boxing his opponents. You see that? See that little touch? I'm here, I'm facing that little touch. That little touch is letting me know my distance, letting me know how fast I have to throw my attack, so I can effectively land without my opponent reacting. Measuring distance. When I'm touching, I'm not just measuring distance, I'm measuring the reactiveness of my opponent. I'm measuring the reflexes, I'm measuring the timing, I'm measuring the rhythm of my opponent, because if I'm able to keep touching them, they might react in a certain way every single time. And that's their rhythm. And then I might hit them with a shot. I might touch them, they touch me. Touch them, they touch me. I'm going to go to touch them, they're going to go to touch me. Bam! I'm going to throw a shot and land. So you're using your lead hand to measure your opponent. Imagine playing darts, but you're in complete darkness. You have no idea where the dartboard is. Now that's what boxing is without you measuring, because you have no idea how far you are, no idea your opponent's rhythm or timing. And that's the reason why when you see bouts with Dmitry Bivol, for example, in the early rounds, it's a lot of feints, a lot of touching, measuring. The measuring is you collecting all that information so you can use it in the later rounds of the fights. Again, this skill should be used on a punch bag, then when you're sparring, and then you can use it when you fight. Now, it's very simple. You just touch the bag, but you have to touch the bag meaningfully. Don't just walk up to her and touch her. That means nothing. If you're in your guard, you might touch, back, shoot shot, touch, because you're feeling how far the bag is. Sometimes you have to use your imagination as well. You have to imagine there's an opponent there. So you might be touching him, you're measuring him, and then you're throwing a punch. You see? So I've measured my opponent, but I'm using my imagination to imagine I'm touching his guard, and then I'm looping a hook around his guard. That's how you can practice measuring. It's just very simple. Touch, attack. Feel the distance, feel the rhythm, and upset the timing to land a punch. The jab controls the distance. The lead hand controls the distance. And measuring controls the distance. Now that's why Dmitry Bivol always looks one step ahead. People think it's just the footwork, but it's the footwork being used at the same time with that lead hand control, which allows him to dominate his opponents. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you've learned something that you can practice in your gym. But if you want to come learn in my gym, Regal Boxing Gym in Forest Gate, London, then be sure to book a trial class where I can teach you these real boxing skills. But if not, and you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe so I can share my passion and my joy with you. Boxing. I'll see you soon.